Premier, ladies and gentlemen, well, it's always a pleasure to be back in New South Wales and in Sydney, particularly when I get such a very kind and generous welcome from the Premier and from the Leader of the Opposition. And also when I see so many familiar faces again. Incidentally, whoever organises the weather in this part of the world seems to think that I like it wet. Well, of course, I don't really mind getting a reputation for bringing rain to drought-stricken areas, but I do like to see the sun once in a while. Mr. Premier, you said that Sydney, which you described as the first city in Australia, was the host to this conference. Now, I've been to Australia often enough to realise how important it is to be impartial in these matters. So I think I'd better get the record straight. The conference opens in Sydney, and just to keep the balance right, it closes in Melbourne. Parts of it will visit all the other state capitals, and smaller parts of it will visit 67 other communities throughout Australia. Incidentally, at least you've solved one problem today, Mr. Premier. I now know why the hell I'm going to Narrabeen Lakes. Well, I'm not going into the subject of the original settlement of Australia. But let me put it this way, there were compelling reasons why so many British people settled here. Today, there are equally compelling reasons for immigrating to Australia, but of a wholly different nature. Now, as husband of the Queen of Australia, of course, I don't speak for Britain in any way, I just happen to live there. But I wonder if you realise what a powerful attraction this country exerts at home. Young men come home after a visit starry-eyed and determined to get back as soon as possible. Businessmen who leave tired and jaded, they return with a jaunty step, and they swear that if they were 10 years younger, they would get out there and start all over again. And many of them frequently forget those 10 years and come back just the same. And while the vast majority of British immigrants decide to make the move purely on circumstantial evidence, and you know as well as I do how many have flocked here in the last 20 years. The English-speaking world, of which Australia is becoming an increasingly influential member, can set just such an example by sticking to the principles which have made all our nations free, stable, and progressive human communities. Mr. Premier, let me repeat, it is a great pleasure to be back in Sydney, and I hope that the next time I come here, you will be enjoying even greater success and even greater prosperity.